Easter and Passover weekend. I've got this up. Easter is a time to rejoice and be thankful for the gift of life, love, and joy. It was 22 years ago that my mom had her first heart valve transplant, and she went in on Good Friday and woke up out of a coma on Sunday. So Easter is always a memorable time for us, besides the religious aspect, but also the personal touch that my mom actually woke up on Easter Day. So that is huge for our family. Getting into, you guys know, I mentioned it last week, I was an honorable mention for business with the Reader Views Awards. And so definitely check out the book. Super excited about that. And I mentioned last week that I do have a new speaker on board for the Modern Trader Summit, and it is Kunal Desai. He is an amazing trader as well. He trades cryptos. He teaches people swing trading, day trading, all sorts of things. You can also find him on his website, Bulls on Wall Street. And if you check back here at Modern Trader Summit, you can follow him on Twitter, Facebook. He's also on Instagram and YouTube as well. So definitely check it out. Make sure to go ahead and book your seat for the event because they're starting to really sell out, and really excited to meet everybody in person, see everyone, help motivate everyone, just help everyone in general. That's what it's all about, is like-minded people working together to encourage each other and just always get new perspectives. There's not always one strategy. There's not just one market to trade. There's so many different ways to make money in the market, and that's what this is about, to help you all succeed and be prosperous in the market, because there's definitely enough money for everyone to succeed, long or short, in the market. So we'll get into the watch list. This is the S&P 500 minis futures. So I don't trade futures, but I have been watching this to see somewhat what the market's going to do when it opens on the next day. And really, you can tell here, we have this green line here, which is the 200-day moving average. This is the daily chart. That's what the D means here on TradingView. And you can see it did bounce off of the 200-day moving average March 23rd, ran up, came down, bounced up a little bit off of this trend line, and it seems to be holding above this trend line. Now it looks like we have 1, 2, and then the third day, so it looks like Wednesday is really going to determine what's going to happen to the market, whether it's going to be bullish from here following this trend line up, or it's going to continue down with this downward trend line and go down and be a bearish market. So it's important to be able to trade not only long, but also short. If you are trading your 401k, look for bearish ETFs potentially if the markets does start to go down, because I know you're not able to, at least not in my 401k that I have with Fidelity, to trade short, but you could trade like dust or drip. Those would be the bearish versions of gold and oil. You can also do that with the market. So definitely look at all of those for the indexes, because if they start to go down, you can make money on the way down as well in a 401k if you're trading a bearish index, a bearish ETF. As always, guys, I'm not a licensed professional, so I did have my Series 7, but it's not current, so please trade at your own risk, do your own due diligence, trade with proper risk management. Getting into the watch list for the week, we have Carg is the first one on my list. This is the daily chart. If you pull it back out to the 15-minute chart, you can see the bottom of this candle, I would say 37.10 for support and 39.94 for resistance. Now, the reason why I really like this one, sorry, those are all my alerts over there. The 52-week high is 39.94, and like I said, I would put that as the resistance to break out, which it created on Friday. And the reason why it's so interesting is 35.4 million in the float and 88% short float volume. Next on the list, a big runner in the past, Rkda. It does look like it sort of hit a little bottom here on Friday, and some people were covering from their shorts. Now, I'm not sure if people are reinvesting here in the stock overall, or if it was just they were closing out before the holiday weekend, before the 3 days. They didn't want to pay the short borrow fees. So I would put a support level of 23.22 and a resistance level of 26.09. I'll show that to you on the 15-minute chart. So really, I wouldn't necessarily bring it all the way down to the low here of 21.67, because if it breaks here, I believe that it will continue on down and go ahead and bust that support level right there. So it does have 1.6 million in the float, and it was 59% short float volume on Friday. So if these shorts start to get squeezed, all it needs behind it is more volume, which will create the momentum, which will go ahead and potentially, here we'll bring it back to the 1 month chart, which could really run it back up again, and we could potentially see new highs if shorts start to get squeezed again. So keep that one on watch. Not saying it will do it, but you know, all these levels are just subjective. If it does break a level, it could go the opposite direction. These are my potential longs that if that resistance, like Cheetah Mobile, we have this as a 30-minute chart. If it breaks this resistance level of 1355, it could continue on up and potentially test the high of the year. But if it fails and it breaks down through that support level, it could be a short and it could come on down here and test down here to 11. So it's all subjective as to what the market is doing. It's not set in stone that the longs that I have on my list are only a long potential. It means that they were active the prior trading day, and those are ones to watch. So for Cheetah Mobile, let's back it out to a yearly chart. I would say this one, like I said, has support of 1302, resistance of 1355, has 29 million in the float, and was 59% short float volume on Friday. Next, we have a big runner on Friday, AVGR. This is a daily chart, but you can see that it had a nice spike up there on Friday, and it looks like it could break out if it really breaks this level of 165. So I have 128. Let's pull it out to the 15-minute chart. It's hard to see because when you do that yearly, it really. Okay, so we have 128 the low, and then 138 after that. Like I said, 165 is the big upward resistance level that I would look for before we could potentially see a spike up. I didn't find the the float volume on Short Squeeze. I went to wallstreetjournal.com and it gave me 855K. So 855K is really low for a float, less than $1 million. So we could see this one potentially run like crazy if it does break that 165. It was 54% short float volume on Friday. Last one for the long list for the week would be Run. So Run, I look at support level of 890. I'll back it out a little bit. This is all of the Friday trading day. So it looks like support here at 890, resistance of 923. And we pull it out on the year, we are at a new 52-week high, and it did have 47% short float volume on Friday and 77 million in the float overall. So it does look a little bit overbought on the daily chart. It did close just a little bit below this high of the candle here at 895. So if it does hold above 895, really above 890 as a support level, I think it could potentially squeeze a bit more. You can see back here, it does have a tendency to squeeze up, even though it's showing the overbought range for the RSI. So definitely keep it on watch. For our shorts for the week, first one we have ACXM. It does have 72 million in the float, had a big gap down on Friday, and we'll bring it back it out to the 15-minute. So it gapped down, found a bottom down here, and ran up just like the market did on Friday, and then it pulled back a little bit. So resistance of 2410, support of 2218, and float, like I said, of 72 million. Next one on the short potential list is ALNY. So it's been in a downward trend lately. It does look like a resistance level 121.50 and support of 117.71, nowhere near the 52-week low. If we look at the 1-year chart, you can see that it is somewhat of a support level. If we break that 117 down to 115.15, maybe 113, and then down here 107. If that 107 breaks, we are looking for big drop down to 96 and then potentially down to 89. So it is in a downward trend. Once again, we have to watch what the market's going to do. Like I said, I think Wednesday is going to be a big day for the market overall in picking the direction that it's going to go. With all these tariffs and everything like that, there's so much uncertainty. There is some fear, so you've got to look at the VIX as well, the TVIX. Really the market will decide what's going to happen, but it's in a limbo zone, so definitely keep everything on watch because you don't know which way it's going to go. You don't know which way the market overall trend is going to be for the day. I do have Facebook down as a short potential for this week, even though it had 2 up days because Zuckerberg is due to talk in front of Congress on Tuesday. So I'm thinking that these are shorts that were closing out before the weekend. There was a little momentum before the weekend closed, and then as the market pulled back, so did the stock. So my support level of 158.13 right here where it looked like it touched, bounced, and then it ran up for a new resistance level of 161.40, the high of the day, which also looks like resistance back here and over here. So keep that one on watch. I think that there could still be some negative press on Monday, Tuesday, with him going in front of Congress to drop it back down, potentially down to the 150 zone, where I think some of the big money players will be getting back in. So it does have a potential of roughly $10 drop, in my opinion. Not last on the list, next we have GameStop. So here we have a support of 1250, resistance of 1301. We back it out on the year. This has just been in a downward trend all year for the past 52 weeks. So, you know, it had a bottom back here of 1349. They had earnings. It was a surprise, negative 298. Pretty nasty for the company. So I would look for continuation to the downward side. Like I said, if that 1250 breaks, then look for 1220 break, which is the new 52-week low club on this one, and then continue on down from there. Let's back it out and see what the 5-year low would be. It's hitting 5-year lows. Really, it looks like we could find support here at a high of 1210, and then below that, you know, down here at 692. So keep your eyes peeled. As you know, many of the electronics and gaming stores, a lot of it is all going virtual online to purchase your games through the consoles, the networks, that sort of stuff. My husband's a big gamer, so I know way too much about them. All right, so we'll look at our 1-year chart for QHC. It did run up to a new 52-week high and pulled back and closed below this support level. So keep it on watch because it did show overbought, pulled back down into the regular RSI area, but you know, not overbought or oversold. And I would say support level 807, below that 763, and a resistance of 842. Now, longs. We've had some great long potentials coming up here. We have Sohu. This is a 1-year chart. I would say put a potential stop at 21. The reason why I say 21 is when you back it out and you look overall at the chart, I would say maybe even 25. It's in an area where you could be creating support right here at the top of this candle for 29.43, but I would give it down to 25 if I were to go into it long term to see what could happen with it. Also, Oracle. Oracle is here on a support level back from 2015, so 3 years ago. So it could very well bounce from here, but it is at a new 52-week low lately that it's been setting in the past month. So that's another one that I have on long swing potential watch list. We also have CVS. CVS, that's a prior resistance and support, so ignore that one. But I would say 60 would be where I would look if I were to get into this for long-term swing, because if the market bounces up, this one could potentially go up. Otherwise, I would say it would probably break that 60 level, as well as UPS, another long-term swing potential. We've got this, what looks like a nice support level here, 102, but I would give it to 100 for support. If I was going long swing, I would give it that $4.66 move, as well as I mentioned this one 2 weeks ago, the Kraft Heinz company. So I would put that one on watch for a long-term swing. It has bounced up nicely off of that 60 mark up to 62 and could potentially continue up like the market as well. As always, guys, carpe profit, seize those profits one day at a time. Definitely check out my book, now a double award winner, also one for Eastern Canada region. And check out the Modern Trader Summit. I would love to meet and see you all there in person. Oh, and another quick thing, I did start using Rkda Fields, and I've had amazing results. So if there's anyone that wants to talk to me about that, I am a dermatologist's daughter, and this is really the first product that I found that I really, really like and I'm really excited about. That's it, guys. Have a great week ahead.